At Man City Fan TV, we're really pleased to promote this wonderful sketchwork artwork by a lady called Leslie Ross. You can follow Leslie on Twitter at 111Leslie111 and also follow her on Facebook and Twitter at 9320art. Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. This is a preview for Tuesday night's game against Spurs and the first leg of the quarter-final Champions League leg. And what we're doing is we're going to do this particular fan preview with somebody called Chris Cowlin from, and his YouTube channel is Tottenham Fan Chris Cowlin. And so go over and check him out. There'll be a link in the video below. But anyway, Chris has sent me some questions and I've sent Chris some questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to answer Chris's questions, and then I've got questions that I want to ask Chris.
Hello, my name is Chris Cowlin. I am a Tottenham fan. Myself and Andy have actually exchanged a number of questions between us this week, previewing the Tottenham v Manchester City game in the Champions League. It's Tuesday night. It's going to be at the brand new stadium. First leg in the quarterfinals. Cannot wait. Really looking forward to this. Now, Andy's actually sent over his first question. Have you been to the new stadium, and is it all that it's cracked up to be? Absolutely. Yes, I've been in there many, many times. I was lucky to go in there during the stadium build. You could just see what the club are trying to create and what they were building. The place is just incredible. As I say, I've been in there a number of times when it was actually being built. Test events, the first game, Crystal Palace. The atmosphere over the test events just got better and better. Obviously, the crowd was increased between the first and second test event, and then the second test event, the Legends, up until the Crystal Palace game, the league game. Yeah, the atmosphere just got better and better, and I'm just so glad that Tottenham have incorporated so much of White Hart Lane into this brand new stadium. You do feel very, very close to the pitch. It is certainly closer to the pitch than any other newish stadium. Even closer to the pitch than your Etihad Stadium, Arsenal's, Wembley and so on. And it just feels so close to the pitch, particularly that we've spent the last almost 2 seasons at Wembley Stadium where you are so far away. Certainly the south stand, 4.9 metres to the touchline. It does make you feel very, very close and part of the action. And it does actually feel really weird when you actually walk into the stadium. It does actually feel like just a bigger version of White Hart Lane. And the mood is very high at the moment, although we've lost quite a few league games leading up to the Crystal Palace game. The Crystal Palace game is huge. We had to get a result, and it was just so nice to be back home. The opening ceremony was excellent in my opinion at the new ground, and the mood was just so high. The fans were just buzzing. It's just so glad, you know, we're all so glad just to be back home, and it was just such an important you know, night to get the result. It really was. So is it all it's cracked up to be? Yes, and more. I'm sure that all of you Manchester City fans travelling down will be very, very impressed with this new ground.
So question number 1 from Chris was, first ever European night at the new stadium. How do you and most City fans feel about visiting the ground so early? Are you pleased it's being played here, and do Spurs have any advantage by moving mid-season, or would you have preferred the game at Wembley? Advantage, I guess, because it's brand new stadium, you guys are going to have to get used to it as well. Would I have preferred it at Wembley? Not Wembley again, I must admit. I think everyone's getting a bit fed up of going to Wembley. So no, I think your stadium looks amazing, and I think City fans are going to be really excited about going down and visiting the stadium and seeing what it's like. And you know, it does look incredible. So it'd be interesting going to a brand new stadium and seeing what the fan experience is like. So as far as an advantage, I don't think there's, I'll be honest, I don't think there's much of an advantage, because I think, you know, it's new for you as well. So I guess you've got used to Wembley now, and now you're going to have to get used to your new stadium. So it's going to be one of those. I don't think it's going to have any impact either way, but yeah, certainly looking forward to visiting it.
And the second question, Ray, one of our presenters, feels strongly that Spurs should have been docked points this season after the stadium fiasco. It has certainly affected City fans with fixtures being rearranged, etc., leaving fans unable to be booking trains, planes, etc., and they receive no compensation. Thoughts on this? Frustrating for everybody. A lot of people lost out. I know a lot of people all around the world, certainly in America and places like that, and a lot of fans actually booked accommodation, flights, etc. for the 15th of September, thinking that we would be playing Liverpool. Obviously, it was delayed. Do I think that Tottenham should have been docked points? Of course, as a Tottenham fan, I'm going to say no. The Premier League and all of the clubs in the Premier League have been extremely supportive of Tottenham's new stadium. Probably not someone like Neil Warnock, but most of the other people have been extremely supportive of Tottenham with their stadium move. I'm certainly happy that we have moved in to the stadium this season. I think it's given Tottenham a huge boost, certainly the fans. It's been brilliant for us. Actually moving in there Wednesday was a brilliant occasion. I did actually feel really sorry for a lot of the Manchester City fans. You know, I'm a big Tottenham fan. I follow Tottenham home and away, and being able to book anything this season has been extremely difficult. You get asked by friends and family. You know, they're asking you months in advance, can you do this, can you do that? And I was always saying no, because I never ever knew or wasn't certain of when Tottenham were actually going to be moving in the stadium. So it has been very difficult. But the fact from an opposition view of not being able to book flights and trains, etc., I would feel just as frustrated as you. And if your club did that to us, I would probably moan and complain as well. And probably write letters to the club asking them to pay for it. So whether any of you guys did, you know, let me know in the comment section below if you got anywhere and did you actually get a response. But yeah, I do feel for City fans, certainly, you know, being mucked about in not knowing when the game was and where it would be played.
So, Chris's second question is, are you feeling confident that City will win the game in London? And how do you feel about the tie over 2 legs? I wouldn't say I'm confident. And cup games are cup games. Anything can happen. Over 2 legs, I think we might just have enough. I'm hoping that we can come away in the first leg with a draw or a win and get you back to the Etihad where, you know, we're very dominant. And so I can see it being 2 tight games, but I've got a feeling that we might just scrape through over the 2 legs, if I'm being honest. But I think it all depends on the first leg at your place. I'm confident. I would say I'm confident at home in the second leg, and I'm glad it's the second leg is at home. But I wouldn't say, you know, I'm confident for the first leg. But we'll see. We'll see what teams are going to be put out, and if Aguero's back fit again, and seems like we're getting players back at the right time. So it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't say confident though.
Next question. Considering only a month ago Spurs were in the title race, now you'd be lucky to get top 4. What's gone wrong? In my opinion, Spurs were never in the title race. I think if you ask a lot of Tottenham fans, would have said we are not in the title race. Never ever considered ourselves as title contenders. At the start of the season, most Tottenham fans didn't even think that we would finish in top 4. I was quite confident of top 4. You ask any Tottenham fan, well, we didn't spend any money. You know, we were playing every game away from home. You know, the club were in crisis. A lot of Tottenham fans were in meltdown at the start of the season. However, we did keep, you know, Toby Alderweireld. People thought he would leave. People thought Danny Rose would leave. You know, we kept players like that. Of course, there's speculation all the time about Pochettino going to Manchester United and wherever else. So I actually think if Tottenham get a top 4 place this season, I think it will be a highly successful season. I really do. Having not spent a penny on any players. And you Manchester City fans probably don't even Well, you probably don't understand that with the amount of money that you guys spend compared to Tottenham. Certainly in the last 18 months, I think a top 4 finish for Spurs would be very successful. I think that Pochettino has just done an absolutely fantastic job. And I think that this stadium, and if we actually spend some money this summer, I think that we'd be up there again. I don't know whether about challenging for the title next season, but we would certainly be up there.
Okay, question 3 from Chris. Were you pleased with the draw getting Spurs? I'm glad we got Spurs and we didn't get Liverpool, I must admit. I would have preferred Porto, if I'm being really truthful with regards to it. But yeah, if it wasn't Porto, I think the next draw I would have preferred would have been Spurs. I'm glad, Liverpool do have a bit of a thing over us after last season, but I'd love for it to be a City United or City Liverpool final, if I'm honest. But it'll be interesting. We'll see. We'll see whether you guys on your day can be absolutely exceptional. So like I said in the previous answer to your question, I wouldn't say I'm confident, certainly not for the first leg. I think we probably were, as City fans, we were probably happy with the draw, or content with the draw, considering who we could have got, certainly in the quarter-final.
Next question, what are your thoughts on the Champions League quarter-finals between our teams, and are you optimistic? I must say I was sat there by my computer all ready to book flights abroad, and then Tottenham v Manchester City. If I'm completely honest, it is the one team that I didn't want. It really is. If I was to have chosen one team out of Manchester City, Liverpool and Manchester United, of course Manchester City would have been the last club I would have chosen. Manchester City are just on another planet. They are absolutely fantastic. Got a fantastic manager. Going forward, you are exceptional. Got some exceptional players, and on your day, you can. Well, you guys have seen it. You've scored 6 goals, 7 goals, 8 goals in games, and just battered teams. Really have. And even in the Champions League, Schalke, the last round, to get a huge win like that is just incredible. So I would have liked to have avoided Manchester City at all costs. So I was very, very disappointed. However, you've been given that tie, and you need to do everything in your power now. It's all down to Pochettino and the players to win the game over 2 legs.
Question 4, what have I made of Tottenham's season so far? It's one of the questions I was going to ask you, Chris, as well. So maybe you can put a bit of perspective on it as a Spurs fan. But yeah, I thought you were right up there. And this is what I find quite difficult is only, 6 weeks ago or so, people were saying, don't rule out Spurs for the title. And you were right in the race. I mean, literally a point behind us and Liverpool at one stage only weeks ago. And suddenly, you might be struggling to get a top 4 place, which, I can't see what has happened and what's gone wrong. I think, looking at it, obviously you missed Kane for a while. And I don't think Lucas Moura's been brilliant, if I'm honest. I can't believe when Kane isn't playing, Son is should be an absolute starter for me. I think he's a wonderful player. But I think some of your big names, Dele Alli, Eriksen, I don't think they've hit the heights of last season. They've been pretty inconsistent, and I don't know whether that's because Eriksen's had his head turned maybe by a possible move in the summer. You real in and out. I don't think your defence has looked as solid this season as last season. So, very strange season. And I think moving into the stadium, the new stadium, it's absolutely imperative that you get a top 4 spot, because if you're going into that stadium and next season you've not got Champions League football, I think it'd be an absolute disaster. A very strange season, because I really did, I must admit, I thought it was 6 weeks ago, I thought it was a 3-horse race. I thought either us or Liverpool could slip up, you could take advantage of it. But you just didn't. You seriously sort of dropped off and your form's been pretty poor certainly over the last month or so. So, yeah, a bit of an in and out season.
The last question, score prediction for Tuesday and for the overall 2 legs. I actually think that Tottenham will win at Tottenham New Stadium on Tuesday night. I really do. I think that it's going to be a 2-0 Tottenham win. I think that we have to score early. We really do. And it's a huge game. It really is. And I think that if Tottenham are going to have any way of winning this quarter-final and progressing in this competition, then we have to win the home leg. I really do. And it is just such an important game. The Etihad away, I think it will be very, very difficult. So I think that if Tottenham are going to progress, we have to do it in the home leg. Overall, I don't know. I really don't. It's it can go either way. It depends on what Tottenham turn up. You know, we've seen a very good Tottenham side in the Premier League. In the Champions League this year, and we haven't seen such a great Premier League side this year. So it just depends what one turns up. Could even go to penalties over the you know, at the end of the 2 legs, but let's just hope. Let's just hope.
And Chris's final question to me was, what do you think of this? What's going to be the score prediction for Tuesday night? Well, it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tight. I think it might be important for us to get an early goal, sort of first 15 minutes or so, and that will give us options and flexibility then to either continue attacking, going for a killer blow and getting the second, or we can sit back, we can control the ball, we can keep the ball. And I think, I'm hoping, let's say, we do get an early goal because, like I said, it will give us those options then of what to do. I think it'll be dependent on who plays and who's definitely fit and is going to be back. It looks like Zinchenko is out for another 10 days, so he's not going to be left back. Mendy yesterday played, looked very rusty, I must admit, but we've got the option of playing Danilo there at left back. And Walker, will Walker play? That's going to be an interesting point to look at, especially after yesterday. He seemed to lose his head yesterday. I thought he was very lucky not to be sent off. But then again, their players, you know, horrible stamp on the back of his thigh. He should have been sent off if Walker was. So I think he got away with one yesterday. So, you know, it shows you he can get emotional. And I'm sure Pep was in his ear yesterday after the game, sort of saying, look, you can't do that. You know, we can't be losing players at this vital stage of the season. So will Walker play, or will Pep think, you know, after that emotional outburst yesterday, I'm going to put him on the bench and put Danilo at right back and play Mendy again, or he's got the option of playing Laporte there at left back and bringing Stones and Otamendi into as centre backs, or even Vinny Kay if he's back. So it's going to be interesting, but tight game. I'm going to be. My heart says 2-1 City. My head says 1-1. If I'm being honest. So I'll stick with my head and I'll go, yeah, Spurs 1, City 1, and we'll take you back to our place and possibly get the job done, if I'm being honest. But yeah, either way, I think it's gonna be a great game, because on your day, like I said, you're one of those teams who you can be exceptional, and so we know we're in for a tough game, certainly on Tuesday night. So anyway. What I want to say is a massive thank you to Chris for asking me those questions and answering my questions as well. We'll be down at the game on Tuesday night, and yeah, looking forward to what should be 2 wonderful games of, well, 3, because we've got you in the Premier League as well, so 3 wonderful games of football against Spurs, because let's face it, the last few games have been a little bit drab and a little bit easy for us. Let's hope that we can up our game for Tuesday night, because we're going to need to. But anyway, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. Big shout out to Chris Cowlin. Don't forget Tottenham Fan Chris Cowlin on YouTube, and the link will be below this particular video. So take care. Thanks, Chris, and all the best for Tuesday.